It has arrived. Hey tubers! Welcome back for another adventure. I've been after a 4x4 UTV side-by-side for quite a while, and I finally found this one. This is a 2014 Linhai Bighorn 400 or Bighorn 28 UTV. New, it cost somewhere around $6,500. And you could get one delivered to your house between $7,500 and $8,500 in a few days, depending on how you want it equipped. It's got a water-cooled 352cc engine. They exaggerated a little bit, calling it a 400. It has low, high, neutral, reverse, electronic, two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, and it weighs in somewhere around 1,000 pounds. This was a full truck load. I had to use the skid steer to get it loose, as you guys saw in the beginning. What's its backstory? This was given to repay a debt, or partially repay a debt. The person I got it, that's who I got it from. The person they got it from brought it to his shop. It's a private shop. In exactly this condition, missing the front, the seat, and the back, and a few other little pieces of plastic, and more or less with the wires in this conditions. It sat within his heated shop for quite a while, and then it moved outside. I get the idea it's probably been sitting 3-4 years, maybe 5. And given that it's a 2014, that means it didn't go around that much. What we'll do is we'll put a battery to it, power it up, and see what the odometer and all says, if any of that stuff works. You could see somebody did jack on the wiring a bit here, right? Looks like there's been some arc welding on the starter lead. Anyway, let me get the jump pack to it and see what we could do. You guys are kind of joining me for the first look. I don't know if this thing is seized or not. I hope not. I'm lucky that didn't fall off. Oh, there we go. It does have an air cleaner and no mice. That's a good plus. I don't see any easy way to turn this motor over. Maybe if I pull that cover. You know, I'm going to take a chance. This whole thing is a chance on me machine. Given that the air cleaner and all looks pretty good, I think I'm going to go straight to pulling the spark plug out and tickling the starter. But before we do anything, let us check the fluids. So let's start with the coolant. Unfortunately, the bottle is empty, but looks like we got 4 floating bulbs and 4 floating bulbs. I guess that's good to minus 25. So I guess the water is okay, or the coolant is okay. I don't see any oil floating around in there. Normally it floats on top. Actually, it looks in decent shape. Okay, now for the oil. Boy, this would be a pest to test check when the bed is on this thing. Yeah, you could see how I'm basically forward of the air cleaner. So oil seems to be full. It doesn't even look too horrible. It's not all the way to crude oil. Here, might as well check the gearbox while I'm here. Oh, slimy. Yeah, that looks pretty good too. Yeah, as I'm going through and checking the fluids and air cleaner and all, right, I'm thinking at some point this was a really a pretty well cared for, well loved machine, right? None of this stuff is broken and dented. It's not like all packed full of mud and dirt. It looks like whoever took it apart had plans to put it back together again. Like in the front here, right? Those plastic guards are intact. None of this is damaged. The VIN numbers here. They did lose the key or have some kind of electrical problems, right? Some of the disconnections might be for the lights and all that were on it, right? I'm not sure. You know, when I see this kind of stuff, it makes it hard to, probably these are lights, this one and this one. It just makes it hard to trust the ignition system that's in it to do anything. I mean, we'll give it a shot, right? You guys are with me for this, so might as well have the fun. So I hooked up the jump pack. You can kind of tell by the covers and that this red wire goes to the starting relay, that those are the right ones for that. These must be for the winch. We're going to ignore that for now. The ignition switch, you could see they pulled the wires off the back. If I put the wires together, looks like the dashboard comes to life. Can you guys see that? So this thing has about 1,095 miles on it. Call it 1,100 miles. The thing that's flashing is the gas tank. It says it's in two-wheel drive. It says the temperature is normal. RPM is 0. So it's got about 1,100 miles on it. I don't know if that's a lot or a little for these. It looks like it was pretty well cared for, so let's say it's not too much. Looking at these wires here, red is hot. This guy, it's black with a red stripe. That obviously, those two together turn it on. This guy here shows up again here, right? Yellow with the red stripe. I tried making it hot and I tried hooking it to ground. I do not get any starter action, so I don't know if I got starter troubles or not. Looks like they did some, this wire here goes to the starter. Looks like they did some arc welding here. You know, as you're going through this stuff, you're also trying to do some forensics. So I'm trying to figure out what they did, what they might have made better or worse, or why they did whatever they did. I think I'm to the point where I want to turn the motor over and see what the compression looks like. So give me a minute to set that all up. So I pulled the plug. It's a Champion. I'm not in love with Champion spark plugs. Doesn't look like it's got that many miles on it. I'm wondering if they weren't troubleshooting a spark problem. Anyway, I pulled, this wire goes directly to the starter hot lead. I pulled it off the solenoid, and let's see if this thing turns over. I mean, maybe that was their problem. I don't know. No clangs, no bangs, nothing came jetting out. Actually, it even sounds pretty good. Let's put the compression tester on it and see what we get. Well, my first time sitting in this thing. Anyway, to get an accurate reading on the compression tester, you should push the gas down and open the butterfly. I say I have rather good compression there. I'll take, what is it, about 140? I'll take that. I love it. So I'm just looking at the switches. I'm not sure. Some of these are worn out. It's hard to tell what they actually do. That looks like lights, high, low. Not sure what override is. It's park. If I had to guess, this is the winch. This looks like the choke. I'm going to have to look up to see what this one and this one does. And then I guess that's auxiliary. So anybody has one of these, if you could tell me what the left hand grade does and the right hand grade does, I'd appreciate that. So given that the engine seems to be intact, we need two things to fire it up. First of all, something to pop on, so we have starting fluid for that. And secondly, I need a spark. I don't know if the ignition system's any good on this, and that could take days to troubleshoot. So we're going to cheat. If you go to the flywheel side of the engine, there's a wire harness that comes out of that, and I happen to look on eBay to see the color codes on the wire harness. So if you unplug it, which I have done right here, see those three yellow wires in a bundle? They are AC power from the stator that goes to the regulator and eventually charges the battery. Then there's also this one blue wire and one yellow wire. Those come from the pulse generators. To put a spark at the right timing to an engine, you need to get a signal from a pulse generator, and that's what this box looks for. Everything else is in the box. It's got its 12 volts, it's got its 12 volt powered CDI, and it's got a spark coil and a really cool bat switch that lights up red when I turn it on. Anyway, I'm going to hook it up. Black goes to ground, which in this case is yellow, and blue goes to the hot of the pulse generator, which in this case is red. So I'm just going to slide those in there. Hopefully we get spark. I'll give it a couple hoots of starting fluid, turn it over right here, and we'll see if we can't get this thing running. It has starting fluid, it has ignition, and let's see what it wants to do. Might be this easy. Wow. I might have got a good deal on this one. If I knew it was going to run, I would have put amplifier. I love it. So here we have it. No smoke. Seems to be running good. God, if I didn't know better, I'd say I knew what I was doing. For 400 bucks, I more or less stole this thing. Anyway, it needs wiring. It's not complete. It's not perfect, that's for sure. But it's well worth 400 bucks, I'm thinking. Anyway, let me know your comments. I'm going to call this a surprise, guys. A big surprise. A surprise that I love. I want to thank you all for dropping by to watch and comment and subscribe. Please remember to keep your feet down, your heads up, and get out and enjoy each and every day. Sometimes you win one. Bye now.